What's going on, YouTube family? If you are new to this channel, hey, my name is Caleb and I'd love to welcome you here. And today I want to speak on a topic, and I just want to tell you guys about how the Lord, He saved me from potentially being put behind bars. So this story goes back 3 years ago. And during this time period, I was hanging around my friends, right? And we started to become reckless, so to say, and it got to a point to where we started to go to stores. We was stealing out of stores because our parents at home, they wasn't providing us like the new clothes and the new shoes and the things that we needed to be able to be considered good kids, so to say, like up to date, high fashion, so to say. So we took it upon ourselves to go in these stores to take shoes, to take clothes, to take candy, anything that we desired at the time. So this one day, we decided, and if you want to know the store that we was talking about, that I'm talking about, I'm pertaining to Walmart. So we go into Walmart on this one day, and we decided to wear book bags to just pack everything that we wanted to steal. We decided to bring book bags. So, and that's where we messed up at. But anyways, we decided to bring book bags. So we go in the store, we taking stuff, we putting it in our bags, this, that, and the third. And next thing you know, one of the workers in Walmart, one of the elder ladies, she started to point us out. And that's how bad it was, because we was doing this like almost every day of the week. Like the same group, like imagine the same group of kids going into the same store and never buying nothing, and just walking out with stuff. So that's basically what we was doing, right? But on this one particular day, this lady in the store, she started to realize, like, okay, these same group of kids, they come in here with these bags and stuff. They never buy nothing, and they always walking out. So she spotted us, and I think she kind of caught on. She knew what we was doing, but she spotted us, and then she let the other workers know. She started talking on the walkie-talkie, letting the other workers know that, them kids in here stealing again. So when we heard that, we seen that, we started scattering around. We started scattering out all around the store. And fast forward, they didn't necessarily find us in the store, but I was found. So let me tell you. So I was on my way walking out the store with my bags, right? And as I'm in the midst of walking out, it was like I want to say like an undercover worker. She didn't have like the worker employees clothing. So I'm walking out of the store, and then that's when she stopped me right there, like right as I'm about to walk right out the store. She stops me right at the door. And as she stops me at the door, that's where it's like I just had to give it up. So she catches me, right? But I drop the bags. I let the bags go. And my friend, shortly afterwards, he walks out the store too. So as I dropped the bags, my first instinct was just to get away from the scene. So as I got away, my friend, he was behind me, but we started walking away together. So as we walking away, we got away. So, but the thing is that my other friend, remember I told you it was 3 of us. My other friend, he was still in the store. So we was waiting on him. And since we was waiting on him, that's when we gave them, my bad, excuse me. That's when we gave them time enough to catch us, because he took so long in the store to where they had enough time to bring reinforcement, and that's when the police was called. So once the police came, wait, let me fast forward. So once my friend came out the store, right, he seen where we was at. So we were on our way walking home. Mind you, I don't have any bags, but my two friends, they do. So as we on our way walking home, we thought we got away. Then boom, two police cars come around the corner. And they had the sirens on, so they immediately, she gave a description about what we looked like, so they immediately knew who he was. So soon as they seen us, they stopped us. They pulled out the car. They told us to drop the bags and stuff. You know the procedure. And once they found out our age and how old we was, you know, they showed us some grace, because after we had got caught and the police had came, they checked the bags and stuff. They took the luggage back. And the lady that caught me, she wanted to press charges on all three of us. She wanted all three of us in jail, but the cops, they said no. And mind you, we are three black kids stealing out of stores in a white neighborhood, so to say. So after the police said no, they tell us to call our parents and, you know, tell them what happened, because we was on our way to get home. So we all pulling out our phones, and we calling our parents, we letting them know, and then next thing you know, after we get done calling our parents, right, then that's when they start trying to take us home. So after we had called our parents, that's when my two friends, right? So it was when the officers came to us, they told us to call our parents. My two friends, they had, like, the cops they stood over those two. But when they told me to call my parents, they didn't stand over me. But when they did stand over me, I did call my parents. I did call my mom. So I called my mom, but when I called my mom, my mom didn't pick up the phone. It was my brother that picked up the phone. So as my brother picked up the phone, you know, I told him what happened and stuff. And he was shocked. So after that, the cops, after he told us to call our moms, my two friends, so they parents, they pulled up. They parents, they came around the corner, and, you know, they was mad at them, yelling at them and stuff. And mind you, we kind of like on the side of a road, sort of say. So like all the cars are driving by. They all just, you know, they stopping by, they slowing by, they all looking at us and stuff, trying to see what's going on. So in a way, I kind of felt like secondhand embarrassment, like, dang, this is crazy. So fast forward, my two friends, they moms take them home. But my mom, I think she was at work during the time. So they asked me, you know, where you stay and stuff, right? So they take me home. And when they took me home, you know, I was expecting for them to walk in the house. I was expecting for them to walk in the house, you know, explain to whoever was in my house that whatever I did, this, that, and the third, right? But the cops, they didn't do none of that. So when they pulled up to my house, they let me out, and, you know, they told me, like, don't do nothing like that again, this, that, and the third. And yeah, so when I got home later, eventually after, I ended up telling my mother what happened. But that just goes to show how good God is, because I just know that, like, if it would have been anybody else in that situation, it probably wouldn't have went the same way. They probably would have potentially went to jail. But I just so happened to be occupied with the right cops that didn't want to see us downfall, you know. And it surprised me, because these cops, they wasn't my color. They was white. They was Caucasian. And they didn't want us to throw us in jail, even though the store owner wanted to press charges. The store owner wanted us to go to jail, but the authorities, they said no. So it really made me give thanks to God and all the glory to him, because things could have went left. It could have went so differently. And it's just crazy how with my two friends, they got in trouble. That, you know, they was on punishment, this, that, and the third. But me, I got away on a clean slate. But eventually, I had to come forth and tell my mom what happened and stuff. And just looking back at that situation, it just showed me how much grace God has for us. And it's like, I'm just so thankful that I didn't go to jail or this, that, and the third, because around the time, I want to say I was 17, turning 18. So I think that's kind of why the cops, they didn't press any charges, because it was like we all was about to turn 18. So it's like the minute we turned 18, our record was going to be clear. So it's like they didn't want to go through the extra files and the paperwork and this, that, and the third in the system and all that, right? So they end up letting us go. But it showed me how good God is, because God, I feel like he allowed me to get away from that situation, so that can be a testimony to others, to let them know that we all have a story. We can all point out situations where we knew that things could have went completely left, but by the grace of God, things still worked out for our favor. And ever since that story, y'all, I have never stolen again. I never even thought to steal out a store again. And I thank the Lord for that, because to begin with, I never had the heart to steal. I never wanted to take. But because I was surrounded around the wrong individuals that had, you know, like a take mentality, they was for themselves. So me being around men naturally rubbed off on me. But I thank God for it, because it taught me to be more humble and be more appreciative over the grace that God has given each and every one of us. So I want to let you guys know that I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you did. As long as you are still breathing, by the grace of God, he woke you up this morning. So as long as you are still breathing, you still living, you can still speak, you can still move. It's never too late. And even if you are in bondage, even if you are in jail, you can still be saved, because it's about the Spirit. And we all need to come to Christ, honestly, because he truly is the only one that can save us from our own self.